It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job, very special episode 121 today. My name is Mike. That's Brian.
Yo.
Our guest today is none other than the dancing carpenter from Instagram himself, Mr. Darren Keefe. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. I think 121 is my new lucky number.
I hope so, man. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen you laying in a pile of cutting boards, so hopefully maybe you get to 121 cutting boards, right? Or
There you go.
awesome, man. That was brutal. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And a lot of it by hand too, right?
All of them.
All of it.
Everyone was different. So it was like I bit off way more than I could chew. I thought I'd put up some fun cutting boards for Christmas, and then I do to myself.
Very cool, man. Well, for those of us or for the listeners who maybe don't know who you are and are maybe living under a rock and haven't seen you dancing all over Instagram, give us a little history. Let us know. We want to know how you got started. What brought you to where you are now? Yeah.
How far back are we going? Is this
as far back as you want. I mean, let's go back to the motherland, right?
Yeah. When you were birthed.
So I was born in Northern Ireland. I left Ireland as a kid. I ended up, my dad worked for Goodyear Tire Company.
Okay.
And he was transferred over to Ireland in, I guess that would have been the 60s. I'm aging myself. And my mother over there ended up getting transferred back to the United States. Somewhere along in there I was born. Who knows if I'm actually their child? I don't know.
Right.
We ended up back in Ohio and then kind of moved around the States. I ended up back in Ohio for my high school years. And I actually worked for a GC in Ohio in the summer months as a job. My best friend's dad was a local GC. And so really got a sense of, tradesmen and working on the job and being on a job site and really enjoyed that. But my passion was acting. And I went out to Los Angeles to pursue a career in film and television, and worked as an actor for here and there for about 20 years. And as every actor that doesn't have a steady job, you have a survival job.
Right.
And
right.
I had a lot of survival jobs. I worked at Blockbuster when I first moved.
Now you're really dating yourself. Now you're really dating yourself.
Yeah. My job to shrink wrap the cassettes. And I got bullied by a 17-year-old who constantly told me to dust off the cassettes. Ended up bartending a little bit, but what I did fall into, a fellow actor had gotten his GC license and was doing kitchen and bathroom remodels. And we built a set for a play. And he was like, "Man, you're pretty handy. Why don't you come on and work for me?" And so I ended up working with him on and off for about 5 or 6 years doing kitchen and bathroom remodels. But what I really found that I loved was the design aspect. I always drew when I was a kid. And so I gravitated towards building specifically furniture or, installations. If somebody wanted some kind of a seat in their
like
house.
A theater built in or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Home theater stuff, yeah.
Exactly, things like that. So I started to do that in Los Angeles. I opened my own business called Drumcree Designs. Drumcree comes from, I was baptized in a church in Ireland called Drumcree Parish. So that's where the name of the business comes from.
That's awesome.
And ended up working with a lot of interior designers in Los Angeles. And then a buddy of mine who was a host for, this is getting boring, guys. I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, this is great.
Boring.
These work out a lot better the more you talk and the less we talk. So this is phenomenal. Good.
The viewers are already like, no. So I ended up, a buddy of mine hosted Ellen's Design Show, which was an HGTV show. And great friend of mine, very talented carpenter in Los Angeles by the name of Jay Modipar. He's also a comedian. And so Jay was coming out of an audition, and I happened to call him, and I said, "What are you up to?" And he goes, I just left an audition for Extreme Makeover Home Edition. They're rebooting it. And he goes, you should submit your stuff. And I was like, I don't know. And he goes, yeah, do it. And so the story goes, he goes, as soon as I hung up the phone, he goes, I knew I was screwed. And
because was it the same position he was trying to cast you for? That's awesome.
There's only one like carpenter designer,
right,
flanked by 2 designers and then the host. So yeah, I submitted my stuff, and by the grace of God, they liked what I submitted. They kept asking for more things, and I ended up being cast on Extreme Makeover Home Edition. That was in 2019, and then we hit the road in 2020. I'm sorry, end of 2019, and we built 10 homes for 10 deserving families.
Wow.
And then so I guess that's my whole story.
And that, I mean, you guys do that. I mean, you guys do those pretty quickly too, right? I mean, those houses.
Yeah, we build the houses in 5 days, and that's
insane.
No joke. We use an accelerator for all the concrete pours and foundation pours, and it's one of those things that you really can't prepare for. You know, when the executive producer Brady O'Connell, who had been with the show since its beginning, you know, he said, it's something you can't get over. He said, you know, you'll go to bed to get some sleep, and you'll wake up the next morning and the house will be framed. And that's exactly the first house. You know, we showed up, we put up the walls. I went to bed, came back, and the drywall was up. The exterior had been installed. It was pretty insane. So, yeah.
So how much of the carpentry were you involved in at that point? I mean, were you doing all the rough framing as well as all the installation stuff and design?
I jump into the framing when I could, but you know, the show was really designed to highlight particular needs for the family. So you know, if they wanted, if they felt like they needed a space to all gather around, they would kind of give me the job of building maybe a table.
Right,
you know,
specialty stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I did more specialty stuff and would jump in and out of, you know, maybe HVAC insulation and all that kind of stuff when I could, you know, just kind of pop back and forth. So
that's fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
So what do you? So now you're back in. I'd imagine the show's on hold for a little bit, right? With the social experiment that's going on right now.
Yeah, you know, we have 500 tradespeople and 500 volunteers per episode.
Wow.
So if you can imagine trying to get
scheduling nightmare.
COVID tested, and you know, it's rough right now. So we're on a hold. So
okay, and just doing your own thing right now. Just doing your own. I guess you kicked back up Drumcree Designs, and
I did. So I moved. I moved from Los Angeles to the South. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. My parents live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I wanted to be close to them, but I love the ocean. So I have a close friend that lives in Charleston, and she kept telling me, like, just move out here, you'll love it. And I had come to visit a couple times, and I just finally pulled the trigger. So I'm out on one of the barrier islands, Isle of Palms. I'm about to renovate a house out here. So that's going to be fun. And then another buddy of mine is moving here from Los Angeles, an actor friend of mine, and him and his wife just bought a house, and I'm going to be helping renovate their house. So my dance card's going to be pretty full. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So kind of kicking it back a little bit, you going back to the acting class, I think where I kind of found out a little bit more about you was Coach Ballgame, right? Like you guys know each other through an acting class. Is that right?
Yes, I love that's right. I forgot that this is the linkage.
Yeah.
James Lowe, man, he is an awesome guy and character, and what you see is what you get. Like James that is not an act. James is all heart. He's all personality. You know, his funky quirkiness is hilarious. He exudes it. He's such a character and a good human being. But yeah, we were in a class. This actor named Brad Hankey, who I believe is in a show right now called The Stand, I think. Brad's a great guy, but we were in his acting class, and that's how I met James. So
that's funny. So we spend at least a weekend a year. We do a golf trip with him, or that he comes on, and then obviously
Well,
know
then
throughout
attend is like sandlots and baseball camps.
yeah. We both have little kids, so we're at his stuff. But he, it's funny because I show my wife those things, and she goes, "Man, it's got to be tough, like putting on that act." I said, "No, it's not an act. Like we spend a weekend a year with that guy, and it's just nonstop. The guy is just, yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, the one-liners and the voices.
Right.
We're not quite sure if James has multiple like personalities.
Yeah, right. A little schizophrenic maybe, but that's all right.
Maybe borderline. I don't know.
It's the fun kind, at least, right?
It is. At least he has fun with it.
So what kind of stuff are you doing? What kind of stuff do you enjoy doing the most? Like what kind of gets you up in the morning?
Well, I love design. So anything that's design forward, really I gravitate towards. So whether it's designing a space, or lately, we were referring to earlier these cheese boards. I had moved out here to work with the builder, and I had worked with him for a couple months, and the need for me just wasn't there. We were trying to make it work, but it just wasn't there. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do with my time? And I started designing these like cheese boards just in my spare time. I was like, maybe I'll throw them up on, as gifts. I thought maybe I'll throw them up on Instagram and see if there's any, if anybody wants to buy them. And they did. So I got,
and it worked. Yeah.
Yeah. I got these, I think I made, no joke, I made 112 or 114 cutting boards in 15 days. So
just nonstop pumping them out.
Yeah, they weren't a template or anything. I had to make each one by hand because that was what I sold them as. I said each one is different. So that was I nearly killed myself. I made it out alive.
There you go. So
yes.
What kind of I mean, obviously the Instagram is huge, right? And it seems pretty recent for you, right? I mean. I looked a few weeks ago, and I mean, I think you're at 106,000 now or something around there, but it wasn't even close to that, even 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Listen, it's 107. Okay.
Oh, 107. Sorry. That must have updated this morning. I looked at it last night. So what was the impetus behind that? Obviously, that was a conscious decision you made, right? I mean, where did that all come from, and what was the driving factor there?
I was in my shop in Los Angeles, and I was this was years ago. I think I was punch drunk. It was I was working on a project, and I had to deliver it at a certain time, and I turned the camera on myself, and I danced around to a Bob Seger song. When I was in college, my college years, I always was kind of known as a goof, and I'd always break out into dance.
Spontaneously, yeah.
Bombs. People, we were probably drunk, but everybody had and so, I turned the camera on myself this one night in LA and shot this Bob Seger song. And this was before Reels. So I think I actually, somehow it made it through, because I think now, you can do that. But before it was
right. The copyright stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, my friend Nia, who's actually married to the comedian Bill Burr.
Really?
She's like, that's hilarious. You got to keep doing those. And so I have to credit Nia for that. And I just kept doing them like here and there. And then I guess this year I just started. I posted one on Monday, and everybody was, and I said like Mondays, am I right?
Right.
And,
right.
And then it just became this thing, and now I do them every Mondays, and it's fun. It's I just, it gets some energy out, and I just do it as a goof. I'm glad that people respond to it, and I get some of the most amazing messages from people that are, fighting cancer or have had a horrible day or a horrible week or a loved one died. I get women that are like, my husband was a carpenter and he was silly, and you remind me of my husband, and just like I wish honestly, like it pains me because I wish I had time to respond to each message. Get so many, but they're really beautiful and heartfelt, and it means means so much to me. It's really, really cool. So
yeah, I mean, you can tell you're definitely doing it from a place of joy, right? Like it's definitely not anything that's forced. I mean, and I think yesterday you posted the blooper reel too, right? Of the hammer flips. I mean, that stuff's funny, man. It's good stuff, right?
Yeah,
I mean, was there intent behind it, or was it just, hey, this is fun and it's a way for me to and it is what it is?
No, it's just fun. But now there is kind of an intent. I'm trying to find, honestly, the how I turn it into something that benefits people.
Right.
I don't know what that model is. So if anybody has any suggestions, I'm open for it. But I like I said, so many people reach out and that are going through cancer or trying to raise money for cancer. I had an old friend that unfortunately succumbed to cancer recently, and we were doing a crowd fund for that. And so, I think if there's a way that I can somehow direct, that to something better that uplifts people, or it's a cause, that'd be pretty cool. But for right now, it's just me dancing like an idiot.
Well, and I think the important takeaway, and not so much that you're obviously like in that contractor box. I mean, obviously you're an artisan in the true meaning of an artisan, right? I mean, handmade stuff and design and all that kind of stuff. But we talk to so many contractors day in and day out. I mean, this is episode 121, right? And it's funny how many. It's cool to see the difference, like between people that don't really understand that world and the ones that do, and then just to see the diversity and where their clientele is coming from, and being able to brand themselves, right, as a company. Yeah. And where I'm kind of bringing this to is, so I posted something yesterday, right, that said we were recording with you today. And the funny part is that I got 2 or 3 messages from people that are nowhere near the construction market or the contractor space at all, but they follow you and they're like, man, I love that guy. Every Monday morning I wake up and it's like, what's this guy doing? Right. So and so to that point, like if there's no other takeaway, right, even from a contractor space, right? Like you don't have to do anything construction related or it doesn't have to be about what you do, but just have fun and be out there, and people are going to notice you. And I mean, it can only help, right? I mean, I have to imagine there's certain opportunities that might be coming if they haven't already your way via that.
Starting to come in, which is really cool. It's pretty awesome. I mean, having the social platform is great for that. I would only work with brands, that I believe in.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But going back to what you said, it's such a difficult time, I think, for everybody. I mean, what a year, 2020. Pandemic and election, and there's so much divisiveness, and I think that we need these kind of lighthearted moments to laugh, to have fun with, because I think that's how we all come back together. I think is kindness and goodwill, and I think everything is cyclical, and it'll come back around again. So I hope my dumb dancing videos somehow
play some small role in that, huh?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's the idealistic view, right?
I'd like to aspire to that. Yeah.
So how much planning goes into these? I mean, I have to imagine now that there might be a little bit of pressure.
Down
right? Like Monday. They got to be better and better, right? So
there's not much. I worked with a local. I reached out to this local hip hop class because I was like, the one comment that I always get is people are like,
"You got the same move.
You need some new moves, man."
You know what's really funny?
You got the Carlton down.
Before you go too much further, what's really funny is James Lowe has the exact same move. And I asked him when we started talking about you, I was like, man, I don't know if they taught you dancing in that acting class, but you guys got the same exact moves. It's hilarious.
I know. It's silly.
It's awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where you think in your mind you might be a good dancer, and then you realize that you're not. You just have one move.
I mean, it works,
By
right?
default, your go-to.
Yeah. But usually them.
Yeah.
I think that was a big 80s thing. And no, I ended up calling this hip hop class, and they were like, "Oh, we'd love to work with you. We know you." And I did a couple videos ago. Like he showed me like this 6-step, and
I think I saw that. Yeah, the little breakdancing one, right?
Yeah. That was fun, but no, not a lot of planning. But you know what's hard for me is the songs.
Picking the song.
There are a lot of great 80s songs. I stick in the 80s.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a theme there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Not because, I was a kid in the 80s. It's not like the 80s were, I was in high school or something, because
right.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Ish, maybe.
I was a freshman in high school in 1990. So
there you go.
But I think the thing about the 80s was, if you think back in the 80s, it's like it was the John Hughes era of movies, and movies then had heart, and it brought you to at least in my mind, it brought you to kind of a different place, and it made you feel something. Mm-hmm. And I think those songs still, kind of hold that that feeling. When people hear those songs, it takes them back, or the songs kind of take you to a place. So I always just choose the 80s songs, but it's hard to choose a song. That was my long-winded.
Hardest part of Sunday night is picking the song for Monday morning, huh?
Yeah. You guys, your viewers are like, God, this guy just never shuts up.
No, you say that. I mean, we had a guy on probably 30 episodes ago. We asked
hour
him,
and a half.
Yeah. We asked him one question in the beginning.
He just went.
And he literally didn't stop for like almost 50 minutes. And the episode ended up being an hour and a half, and we didn't even get to talk. But it was great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They were, like I said, they work out a lot better. So the Irish accent, I mean, you can hear a little bit.
I can hear when he says Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland.
How many beers does it take before like it really comes out?
Well, it doesn't take many beers, but if I'm around the Irish, that'll do it, or even English for some reason, or even Australian. But yeah, it's just
anything other than Americans. Yeah, good.
Anything. Yeah, it'll come out. But no, I left Ireland as a kid, so anything that I picked up is really from my mother, or
right.
I'm fortunate enough to go back in the summers to my uncle's farm, and we would spend a good chunk of the summer back there. That's probably my greatest memories. And I was always around my cousins who are still back there. They're my age. And so I think, anything that any kind of lilt in my voice, I've been gifted from those experiences. So
that's fun. We had a guy on pretty early too he's Irish as well to the bone. Yeah, Jerry McCaughey.
Yeah.
And I got yelled at for saying this.
Yeah, is your name McCaughey?
Yeah, I said McCaughey or something. He said, oh no. He was not real happy with me, but yeah, no, it's fun to hear that.
Yeah.
And those stories, yeah, I'm sure going back. Do you still get to go back pretty often, or?
Well, not now, but
right. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I was getting back about every 3 years. I'd go back and see my cousins, and
that's awesome.
Usually take a trip around Ireland, and Ireland is gorgeous. It's always been kind of my dream to one day have a house back there. But then again, in Charleston, we just had about 2 weeks of straight rain,
right?
And I was like, I don't know if I could live in Ireland now.
Pretty similar, yeah.
It's very green for a reason.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Are there plans to? I mean, I guess with Extreme Makeover, you guys just on hold right now, or is it?
Yeah, we're on hold. We're waiting to see what happens.
Okay. So there is a point where it'll probably get started back up. Hopefully, knock on wood, get started back up again.
It's up to the that's above my pay grade.
Right.
Yeah. But I've got some other things in the works. I've got some other shows that are kind of floating in the ether, and I hope that one of them kind of lands. So that'd be great. They're all.
I was going to say, are these shows kind of involved with the design build aspect of what you're doing right now?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. They're all around design in one aspect or another. So it would be really cool. They're great. They're great concepts. So hopefully one of them hits. But yeah,
I was going to say, you try and revamp the. My dad, rest his soul, was an aficionado, I guess we'll say, for those home improvement shows. So back in the probably mid 80s, early 90s, the home improvement shows were one guy in his shop, right? I mean, I don't remember the name of this guy, but there was one guy that he literally watched. This Old House. There you go. Yeah. My dad forever, all day, all weekend. That's what it was. When it was cartoons were over in the morning, it was This Old House all day on the weekends. I feel like a revamp of that kind of show with your fun kind of attitude, right? I mean,
look, I would love that. I think, we're in this.
I'll call my producers. We can get it done. Yeah. No.
I think we're in this time right now where people have an appetite for the I don't want to say kind of like they want to see the before and afters, and they want to see, they want that quick
instant gratification.
Which I don't blame them. I mean, it is fun to see like a house that's, derelict and in horrible, in a horrible state, and see it come to life again. So I think, the networks are really focused more on that right now, than the kind of following the carpenter guy around. But, I think it is cyclical, and I think it will come back again. I think people genuinely are interested in the trades. And, I think too, opening that up, that topic up, I think that the more that we can get kids into the trades, show them that there's another path forward, rather than, kind of ingraining them in the, you got to be a doctor or a lawyer, you got to make all this crazy money. The joy that comes out of working with your hands and building something from scratch and watching it, appear before your eyes.
And being able to show your friends and family, like, hey, this is what I did. Like,
so I think, hopefully there'll be more shows like that, because I think that we need those. Yeah.
Well, and I think you're doing a great job too, right? It's part of why we do what we do here, right? As far as, bringing that construction blue collar worker into the digital kind of, the now type of media, right? Yeah. And I think you're doing the same type of thing, right? We talk about it all the time with our guests, as far as, from an employee standpoint and a labor standpoint, and it's so tough, but making it cool, making it fun, most kids in high school, or even coming up, are taught that, swinging a hammer by their parents. Unfortunately, swinging a hammer is kind of less than, right? But you're making it cool, right? How fun is it, swinging a hammer, doing what you're doing, right? Or being a craftsman and an artisan.
Yeah, it's so fun. And I think, the cool thing about it are the bonds that you build, between other tradesmen, I mean, it is like this on the job site kind of club, you get to see, it's like going to camp when you're a kid. You get to see the same people, for months on end until you finish this project. And it's, and you get to kind of visit with them and see how they're doing, and, brag on their kids, or, it's just like, it's familial, and, and it's really cool. So, I think, to your point, it is, I think, kids need to see that it is a good job. It's a great job to respect it.
Yeah. And it's fun seeing people. Jesus
was a carpenter.
There you go. Just following in the footsteps, huh?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, it's called It Happened on the Job. I think you teased in your email maybe some fun little stories maybe that you've seen or been a part of. Anything you're here to share with our viewers?
Yeah, so I told you that I was working with this actor friend of mine that was a contractor, Randy, and
is that his real name, or are we hiding it?
No, it is.
Okay, all
right. Randy Thomas, RT. Great guy. He lives in Los Angeles, has his own business. If you're in Los Angeles, look up RT. Anyway, we were doing an addition. No, not an addition. We were a washer and dry laundry room, and we had pulled up the floors. And the house was built in. I think the house was built in like 1915 or something. It was an old LA style bungalow, and we had pulled up the floors, and we're in the dirt, and the joists are there, and you can see the water line and the gas line, And he goes, and I'm a newbie. Like I worked with my hands before. I built things, but I'd never done plumbing. I'd never done electric. I'd never done, I've never like sweated copper, none of that stuff. And so he's like, all right, yeah, you just cut the water line. I got it turned off. I'll be back. I was like, okay, cool. And so I get down the sawzall. I start cutting this line, and immediately I'm like,
what's that smell?
I'm like, yeah. And he walks in. He goes, "What the?" I go, "Yeah, I think it's a gas line." pretty sure it's got a gas line with the sawzall that makes sparks. But,
no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah, so that was a fun one. But fortunately, there was a shut off, in the line. Right there, so I got lucky, but yeah, that was my. I've had many dumb mistakes, but that's.
I was gonna say, I mean, you don't learn otherwise, right?
Thank God you're still here.
Ones are like me, lacerating a finger or something like that. So I've done many times too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what is you have a shop there at your house there that you're working out of right now?
Yeah, so I built a little kind of annex on the house. It was I was actually a screened-in porch, a fairly big-sized screened-in porch, but it had somebody before me had plexiglassed it, and so I just built kind of a makeshift shop in there for now, and then I'll move the shop into a commercial space eventually. But right now, this just works for me. It keeps my tools handy while I, work on this house. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So what's the? I mean, obviously there are show futures. There are things in the future kind of down that road, but
hope so.
Yeah, right. Fingers crossed. Are there other? I mean, are you doing things with Drumcree Designs, or what's the future look like for you? Are you staying out there on the East Coast, or plans to move back, or?
No, I think I'll stay here. As of now, I'll stay here. The plan is to kind of plant my feet here, get to know some of the interior designers in town, start working with them on different projects, and some of the real estate agents and things like that. Maybe do some, small home remodels like I'm doing here, and like I'm doing for my friend, and kind of pushing those out there on Instagram. I want to really start showing, the before and afters, and kind of almost create my own series on Instagram, really, where you kind of see the beginning, middle, and end, work through a project. So I'm excited for that. That's going to start pretty soon. I'm working with a local interior designer. We're going to, two-hand it, this other job in Mount Pleasant for my buddy moving here. Christine Edwards is the designer. She's a local girl and really talented. So we're going to team up and design a kitchen, and I'm going to roll up my sleeves, do some of the work, and come up with some cool designs.
That's fun, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you need to get back out to your parents' house out in Nashville too, and get a little country music.
Knoxville,
and get Knoxville. Yeah. Sorry. Get
Dude,
some country songs going.
I'm all about it. I'm actually going to Nashville in about 2 weeks. I've a lovely woman out there. It's actually an amazing story, and this is another story, from the Instagram sphere. This wonderful woman reached out to me, and she had said, my husband passed away, and he was a budding carpenter, and he had a bunch of hardwood that he left in the garage, and I want to build 2 pieces of furniture for my daughter so that they can, pass them down, have something to
That's
father's
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna drive out to Nashville in a couple weeks, and a good buddy of mine, James in Nashville, is gonna let me use his shop, and I'm gonna build her a couple pieces of furniture. So
That gives me goosebumps, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, what's cool about that is really an extension of Extreme, and Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Man, I'm a softie, and that experience was so heartfelt and amazing to watch people go through these transformations in the form of a house. It's almost like, it's like life as a house.
Yeah.
It's watching their their world changed because they have been given a new lease on life through this house. And so I think, these small projects like this woman in Nashville are kind of a microcosm of that. I'm really excited to do that. And
that was just 100% through Instagram. Like she reached out to you, and
100%. Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Power of that stuff, man.
Yeah. And I was like 100% I'd be interested. So, and, and really that is something that I would like to cultivate is, there is a part of me is like, I should just buy a trailer and just go around. America.
I was going to say that in and of itself would be a fun adventure, right? I mean,
yeah. So we'll see.
You just need to hire somebody to start taking care of all the messages because you're going to get a huge influx at some point.
I answer them all. It's,
right.
I would literally be, I sound like a jerk if I say that. Well, I sound like a jerk if I'm like, it would take me all day to answer these. That's not what I meant.
No, we understand. Yeah.
It's so hard because you gotta have like a day job and you're trying to the real stuff. And then, I feel responsible to answer everybody's kind words. And sometimes I feel like I miss the mark, but I try my best, people.
You're killing it, man. You're killing it. Well, and even if you do nothing other than just that one job for that lady in Nashville, I mean, you've already done more than most people do, right? I mean, that's huge, man.
I hope so. And I think, it's important to do things that fill your soul and fill your heart, whatever you do. I'm sure you guys are passionate about, this podcast and you do it for a reason. I think anything you do that fills your soul and, you put good energy out into the world. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it's awesome that you're using your platform and your gifts and your talents to basically feed others in a way, right? You're feeding their soul. You're helping this woman with her late husband. And, you've been involved in Extreme Makeover as well. And it seems very apparent to me that it's not so much, really it's what you see is what you get. It's a lot like James, right? In terms of, you're taking the essence of your, for lack of a better word, soul, right? And you're able to, to transfer that out to others. And I think there's something to be said for that. So super cool that you're using your platform to be able to do that, and your gifts and talents. I mean, aside from the show, I bet this lady wouldn't know unless you're posting on Instagram or at least others knowing. I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, it is really cool. Yeah. I feel very, very blessed, by the grace of God. I really feel very, very blessed. So, yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, we'll let you run and get back to building some cool stuff, and we look forward to seeing it all over the place. But before we do, let the people know where to find you. Obviously, Instagram, but if you've got websites or anything else, or where you sell your Drumcree design stuff, or wherever it is.
Well, you can just find me on Instagram right now. It's under Darren Keefe, and I have my Shopify site up there. I do have a website, although I've been kind of lazy and I need to update it.
because you have so much time with all the other stuff that you
so much time. So you can find me there, and I appreciate the support. And thank you guys for deeming me worthy.
Please. No, man, this is awesome. We've been looking forward to this conversation for a while, so I'm glad we made it happen, and you were awesome, man. It's been great.
Thank you. All
right, Dan, we'll stay safe out there. We'll keep in touch, and we can't wait to see what's next for you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, keep dancing.
Yeah. I won't be, but you should be. All right, man. Have a good one. Stay safe.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Darren. Have a good one. Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.